Hello and welcome to the Fractured Leg Newsdesk. The regular season of the BKBBL is now over and we've reached the playoffs, and this is your playoff preview. So, moving into the actual matchups, you won't actually see the top 4 teams in these because they all have byes. Those teams being the Iron Gatekeepers, the Imperial Scabs, the 8 Peak Prowlers, and last year's champions, the Town of Halloween. So moving from that to our first matchup is going to be the Bad Moon Hackers versus the Stormwind Lions, a classic humans versus orcs matchup. Coach, what is your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, that's right, Fry. This is actually the closest matchup. They've finished right next to each other in the regular season, so this one's impossible to pick, which is why I can promise you that the Bad Moon Hackers are my lock of the week. They've won their last 3 games. What's not to like? And the other team, they lost their last 3. Things going in one direction, it's pretty obvious. That's where you should put your money.
I think you have those stats backwards, Coach. The Hackers are actually on a 3-game losing streak. The Lions are on a 3-game winning streak. Anyways, next matchup. The Green Bog Groin Rippers versus the Horn Toads. The Groin Rippers are on a tear. This rookie coach is really making a name for himself in this first season for them. The Horn Toads are on a bit of a losing streak. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, but you know what they say about any given Sunday, any team can win? So the Toads had better hope they schedule it for a Sunday, because otherwise probably the Groin Rippers are going to win this one.
Well, I sure do hope the Chaos Gods listen on Sundays. Moving on to our next matchup, the Cruel Intentions versus Whiplashed. This one's an interesting one because neither team has won a game in quite a while, and I think they're both itching to get that win, or in Coach Rampage's case, just a little bit disappointed that it hasn't worked out for them in the last little bit. What do you think about this game of Skaven and Elves?
What do I think about it? I mean, who cares? It's going to be a skills competition. Elves? Skaven? Who's going to attend this game? It's going to have nobody in the bleachers. It's called Blood Bowl, Fry. It's not called Throw and Catch game.
Well, lucky for you, this next one will not be a skills game, as it is Black Orcs versus Dwarves. The Fighting Uruk-hai, top seed in the season that didn't get a bye, just narrowly, versus the last place team winless in the season, Newshams, who maybe are going to get their first win, but it's not looking great for them. What do you think, Coach?
You might think so, Fry, but here's the thing. I'm not sure if you saw, the Fighting Uruk-hai, they were expecting that bye. In fact, they even had vacation plans. They were going to be in Lustria. I'm pretty sure they've got a vacation mentality right now. No hunger. Not only that, but they lost to Dwarves earlier this year. I'm giving Newshams my shoe-in of the week.
Well, moving on to another match with some Dwarves, this time 2. It is the Rock Bottom Bronze Bombers versus the Rollfolk Raiders. This one's going to be super exciting, folks. Look forward to getting your tickets to... Oh, hold on, 1 second. Oh, it turns out this one's already being played and it's over. Okay, so this one looks like it went to the Rock Bottom Bronze Bombers, probably 1-0. Yep, confirmed 1-0 because it is a dwarf game. I guess they thought they had to get this one early just so that they had the time to actually finish it before the end of the first round of playoffs. Any thoughts on that one, Coach?
They played it already? Oh man, I was looking forward to watching that one. Hopefully I got a T-vote at home. One nice thing is if you did miss this one because they started it so early, you'll probably get another chance to watch Dwarves on Dwarves again after Newshams defeats the Fighting Uruk-hai. That was my shoe-in of the week, remember.
And into our next matchup, a rematch from Week 10 of the regular season, the Southland Snakeskins versus the Bile City Blight Kings. The Snakeskins coming off of a win against that very team. Coach, what are your thoughts?
The Snakeskins? Does that team name sound familiar? Hey, weren't they your favorite team growing up?
Yeah, they were. I do kind of have a team I'm cheering for in this one.
Oh, that's sweet. That's why I'm picking the Bile City Blight Kings. They are my pinky promise of the week. They're definitely gonna have better fans than whatever your team was.
Well, I guess if either team wins, they have to play against the Town of Halloween, which isn't great for them anyways. So moving on to the next bracket. We've got the Dragonhof Defenders versus the Warpstone Club, both championship-winning coaches. And if either of them win, they have to go against another championship-winning coach. Coach, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure. I mean, the Drakenhof Defenders, they've played Skaven twice, including against the Warpstone Club, and they lost every one of them. I'm not sure if they know how to beat Skaven. That said, it's the playoffs. Anything can happen. The refs don't call the game quite as closely, and maybe the Vampires can hypnotize their way into some victory.
Our next matchup has a team you've had your eye on for a little bit, the Sarasong Nighthawks, who've been on an absolute tear in their second half of the season, and Circe's Cursed Circle, who are looking to leverage their new star thrower, Goat Brady, in order to try and win this next game. Coach, what do you have to say?
A Beastman thrower, now I've seen everything. I mean, that kind of gimmick might work in the lower leagues, but this is the BKBBL. I think the Nighthawks, they've done very well, and hey, I told you they were starting off slow on purpose, and now they've won a whole bunch, just like I said. But did they peak too soon? I don't know. The Nighthawks probably have this one, but I think they might have wasted all their mojo too early. People are watching them now.
Well, I, for one, am interested in seeing some new tactics come out of a Chaos team. But speaking of starting off slow, the Soul Collectors versus the Pumpkin Patch Pussycats. Soul Collectors started off with a terrible beginning to the season, but have skyrocketed in the second half, and I think they're on 4 straight wins. Do you think the Halflings can pull this one out?
Can they pull it out? I think this Halfling team might be able to do anything. You might remember, they won a game against Dwarves this year. Dwarves! Can you imagine? They can do almost anything except for win this game. They're not going to win this game. You can take that one to the bank.
A hot take. Up next, the battle of the longest team names in the league, the Wood, the Bad, and the Ugly Tree Huggers, or WBUF, as their team's fans have affectionately been calling them, versus the Ignis Valley Swamp Raiders, a Black Orc team making it out of the muck. What do you have to say about this one, Coach?
Well, I have it on good authority that the Swamp Raiders have actually been watering the field down a little bit, so it's extra murky, extra muddy, going to slow those elves right down. They're not going to have a chance against the Black Orcs in their home territory. So unless the sun comes out, I think the Tree Huggers are in trouble.
Seems like a solid strategy for the Swamp Raiders. Up next, what I'm going to call the bloodiest match of the playoffs, the Underdeep Dirty Diggers versus the Champions of Fair Play. Those Snotlings are in for something special.
I'll send in for something special because they brought a whole extra busload of Snotlings to bring onto the field at some point and do all that fouling that they're famous for. You know, the Champions of Fair Play is an ironic name, Fry.
Well, we'll see if irony is a winning strategy. Up next is the Desert Desiccants versus the Springfield Isotopes, the winner of which will have to play the Imperial Scabs. Coach, what you got?
Yeah, this one's gonna be great. This is everything you want. We got a fast team versus a slow team. We've got a living team versus a dead team. We've got a team that can handle the ball versus a team that can't handle the ball. And both teams, surprisingly, have only one loss in the last little while. Problem is, whoever wins has to play the Scabs, and that's basically a death sentence. Which if you're the Tomb Kings player, maybe not so bad.
That covers all of the matchups in round 1 of the playoffs. But there's one more question to ask, and that is who's gonna win it all? Coach, who do you think is going to take it to the end? Give us one favorite and one underdog.
Well, that is the question, isn't it, Fry? I'm going to go with the Nighthawks for my favorite. They're on an absolute tear. They're doing amazing, and the coach is a personal friend of mine. And for the underdog, I think I'll take Circe's Cursed Circle. They're playing the Nighthawks. That way, I guarantee to get one of them into the second round. That's called strategy, Fry.
Interesting strategy. I'm going to take the Iron Gatekeepers as my favorite. They already have a round 1 bye and are in the second round of the playoffs. And my underdog is going to be the Rock Bottom Bronze Bombers, who have already won their first game. And I think they've already learned a couple of lessons in the regular season about not throwing bombs at their own players. That does it for our round 1 playoff preview. Thank you all for watching the Fractured Leg Newsdesk, and we'll see you in round 2.